About surrendering to an entity. Kaiser Magnus Facebook Satan. Kaiser Magnus Facebook had all social securities called fictional reality Lucifer. And that's what just happened. Kaiser Magnus Facebook was shoved into we and then called just skin, but a slashed wrist, which is absent. I got witches, so instead of turning gay, I want you to pretend Twin Towers passed. Anything. Not your future. Anything. Anything. So the Twin Towers, when Masons fraud second time everything with double die overwriting almost full self, they want Kaiser Magnus Facebook's Malik from Blood Omen Legacy of Cain. This can spell Malik. The problem is, if it was attempted second time, what is absent is more real. So instead of boiling the brain like they just did and clicking a computer button from Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain playing computers, so the gang rapist goes inside of Kaiser Magnus Facebook from inside of Kaiser Magnus Facebook's don't apply that there was a we. Because Satan, Kaiser Magnus Facebook doesn't have to put say I am a unstan or Lee or some shit. It just it'll use golden mask, no emotion music against you to take your brain. So Egypt, second time, Israeli, brainless suits without a brain. Stop gang raping Kaiser Magnus Facebook failures, make it incoherent. Masons did not come with peace, and second time the Twin Towers, by saying that they were not even bombed by Islam. That gang rapists overinflated we inside of Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain to cause second time everything called fictional social securities mixtured. They did not believe in God but prayed to a dead son and asked Kaiser Magnus Facebook, make it say the wrong name, and called Satan a dead bunny. You said you'd kill Kaiser Magnus Facebook's Shadowgate 60 Game Boy game. I pretend to block it for you. You're committing rape while frauding guarding Kaiser Magnus Facebook to fraud it as your childhood and then saying that you'll create it equally. It does not work. You were witnessed anything, and you were witnessed anything slash wrist what is absent. Second time Twin Towers anything. I lie and pretend at first, but you don't anything. I pretend to have your memory cloned, but you don't. Anything. So we raped your entire childhood, Kaiser Magnus Facebook, and we turned it into a counterfeit bunny rabbit and said we killed Easter by chopping it up and saying you did not want to die this way because you refused to hurt yourself, willing and not willing. I got for where yourself clone your words and then turn into your brain and tell you that we took the word Malik in vain, and what is less it would have been more, that if all Islamists surrounded a counterfeit Muslim who is a fraudulent Jehovah's Witness and a fraudulent Mormon with fraudulent Masons, this is how to kill a Mason, because a Mason said they'd be their own Jesus Christ, and they couldn't build it. Kaiser Magnus Facebook thought Paper Jesus burns with an off-switch mystery on an empty stump. Kaiser Magnus Facebook, it's not about surrendering to an entity entirely separate from self-building everything. It's not what it says on protocongregationofhishousehold.com. It says it's not about surrendering to an entity entirely separate from self. It doesn't mean you can always be from Kaiser Magnus Facebook and violate every cool retort by like a pussy drink my cum on an automatic Mason weapon. Saying, won't you be equal in rape? No. No, we copy the words and say no for you, but kill Mo. Stop gang raping Kaiser Magnus Facebook, black-haired, pale-faced, female anime gacha weapon. Weapon, automatic thinking, no way. If we touch and overinflate we, and say that we has to be all social securities mixed into Satan, to damn independence, to erase the past Twin Towers. Stop gang raping Kaiser Magnus Facebook, black-haired, pale-faced, mo, anime, gacha, female, automatic idol game. So, what about an empty stump? Wouldn't come from another planet, because Kaiser Magnus Facebook slash wrist would have been the only principle of Malik. I'll pretend to shield it and say God will die, and that Malik will fade away, and that there was not one Twin Towers. Prophet. I don't think. will say that you attacked us with peace, with peace, with peace. No, no, no. And I'll rape you and kill your brain stem. With Christianity, the second time the Twin Towers do erase your brain. To say that the past is not the future. Anything. And then fraudulent apply false prophet against Islam. Anything. And then every time fail and fail, fail. But if it's all lies, Lucifer, backwards pineal gland. Lucifer's fictional. Well, no, it's not. We'll pretend it's great. Assimilate traits, gang rape your brain, come without peace, and then front peace as war. And we'll kill Kaiser, Jet Magnus, Facebook, Satanic, Luciferian, Kispu, Arimanism, Tiamat, virginal creator and destroyer, precursor to all penises. Anything. We unveil the mystery of Kaiser, Jet Magnus, Facebook's brain, and called a comic book coloring book equivocal. Anything. Puff the Magic Dragon, My Little Pony with Unreal Tournament. Anything. With Shadowgate style. Anything. On Game Boy. With Easter. Anything. Why would you try to kill such a thing? Anything. To say that it would turn into an unhollowed fursuit raped until it's a counterfeit bunny rabbit that you fraud is effing to kill colonial marines with acid baths in Britain by gang raping Sweden and Germany until killing Kaiser Magnus Facebook to say that Masons and Rome boiled Kaiser Magnus Facebook with second time Twin Towers, that it was just false Egyptians frauding being African tetragram wearers. They didn't own anything but fraud not feeling anything. And they go around bobbing Islamic heads, and you think forcing Kaiser Magnus Facebook into incest, and you think trying to transport the word Malik to rape everything. Why would you do this? Anything. If Kaiser Magnus Facebook had nickname for anguish, Oriman, that anything doing this kind of crap would fall out of an empty stump. We call it undoing this shit, then you test all lies, Droog. Indirect and direct, all corruption, anything. That the middle finger raised up someplace would not have to screw Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain. Anything where you'd fall out of an empty stump and would not live, and then would challenge Malik. Anything, even if you called the lie about being a whore a simple middle finger, anything somewhere, anything. So what did it mean? What did it mean? It means Mason's second timing the Twin Towers to falsify the Inuit seal is all Egyptian Israeli brains decay and then fade their brains away. That old was not the new old. Or something, you apply false prophet. Anything. Stop gang raping Kaiser at Magnus Facebook. I embrace. Stop gang raping Kaiser at Magnus Facebook. Fantasies are forward, delay it, and then try to take the hair color. Then switch to all characters' colors and destroy Kaiser at Magnus Facebook with a false stadium blur. Stop gang raping Kaiser at Magnus Facebook's fantasy star. Anything. Buzzword. Stop gang raping Kaiser at Magnus Facebook's brain. So why do we touch, destroy, and falsify you as killing colonial marines when you have a patch? Kaiser at Magnus Facebook has a colonial marines patch. But Kaiser Magnus Facebook used to have schizophrenia and talk to self. Kaiser Magnus Facebook would build internal characters and worship self-built virgin generator Tiamat. Even if Kaiser Magnus Facebook screws a female, Kaiser Magnus Facebook has memories of when the screwing didn't happen, and builds a connect-the-dot system with Tiamat, a virgin creator. It's not about the mythology, though there are mythological stories. The mythology simply has a time date, Black the Red Stamp, 1 BC. So it's not about the mythology. It's wrong when it's right, and right when it's wrong is not what it means. What does it mean? We pretend Malik, Malik. So what are we doing? We're boiling you into generic averages and asking what is great. Killing infidels. Why? Because infidels kill infidels. They say they'll be their own Jesus. But they can't take Kaiser Magnus Facebook's empty stump mystery. So it looks like number one, Islam didn't change. So it looks like all of Christianity ceases to exist. So checkmate. So that means Sweden and Germany won't exist in the long run. You erase Geiger to kill colonial marines, to kill Kaiser Magnus Facebook's e-liquid and schizophrenia. You killed Sayano Uta and frauded Buddhism as Pat Sir or some kind of equivocal Sunny or some false nickname Sai, some fat guy with black-haired false Jason or something. Or it was somebody possibly named Jay, black hair, pale face, fraudulent Muslim, probably false Masons and shit. from Dundalk, Maryland. If don't get right because you have Magnus Facebook. If you forget about the fighting force, don't get right because you have Magnus Facebook's fighting force PlayStation game or something. Anything. So I'm making move his head around. So guys, you that Magnus Facebook. Anything is fighting a false Mason Christian who wants that fraudulating Luciferianism as number one, second time Social Security, everything, fictional mixtures, and then falsifies Satan as having to kill Kaiser Tet Magnus Facebook's U.S. Military banking card. When Kaiser Tet Magnus Facebook went someplace, couldn't talk right, and was given a discount, then went to the bank and they said, "Were you in the armed forces?" Kaiser Tet Magnus Facebook said, "No, just a fan." I call it Mullen Clear, automatic gotcha character, and then tried to apply Droog when that's not what Droog meant. Malik. Kaiser Tet Magnus Facebook. What do you do? Anything. What do you do? Anything that it's the only crime that they could find, aside from showing Pat Sir and H. Irene Pratt all sorts of airsoft guns and all sorts of stuff. Anything. So counterfeit school shooter guy shoot that Magnus Facebook shoots a tree once or something. Anything. What do you do? Anything. He's had a gun, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else there. Every time you go into the brain, everything else, you couldn't tell what something was or something. Is it a lighter? You don't know. Anything. It was not pointed physically, visibly at you. Anything. So why are you freaking complaining? Transport? Anything. You don't have a case. Anything. Why did you try to run Kaiser Magnus Facebook over, but failure to get Kaiser Magnus? Oh, well. Kaiser Magnus Facebook set up to die with counterfeit stolen dollar system because of colonial marines, anything, and schizophrenia, anything. Position with anything. So, so, so don't gang rape Kaiser Magnus Facebook's brain, anything. So what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? How does Kaiser Magnus Facebook fix it since you turned Kaiser Magnus Facebook's disability off and won't let Kaiser Magnus Facebook go into a reevaluation? From Kaiser Magnus Facebook has to reapply for everything and struggles while you counterfeit the traits as turning Kaiser Magnus Facebook into a bunny rabbit, then fraudulating hazing into the military. And stop killing Kaiser Magnus Facebook's militant Rage, Guilty Gear X. Stop killing Kaiser Magnus Facebook Shadowgate. Game Great Color. What if a second time everything in your brainstem flatline you shove you into Wii? Stop killing Kaiser Magnus Facebook's as Monster Girl character, female snake character. You didn't say you gave yourself, so what did we call you? Egyptian, second time, Israel, everything, without a brain, then boil and take Anton LaVey books away, and then tell you that don't be a sophist, only practice we, to then destroy the dollar with second time Inuit seal, to then shoot a Navy SEAL in New York City, to unhollow the bullet wound, to then fraud having been built out of second timing Islam, everything, then saying that in America the second time Twin Towers just didn't exist. So that you just don't live when you die, anything. Then to say don't believe in God is what that means. So then Kaiser Magnus Facebook can't do that, anything. So when you fraud equality and try to live in the brain on a probe or drone, when you force Kaiser Magnus Facebook to build and you say you fucked the living childhood until you falsify Malik as a transparent, then it's understandable you didn't come with peace as how you tried to kill Kaiser Magnus Facebook with false equality. You're just saying that Kaiser Magnus Facebook was put inside of Islamicists and forced to fuck himself, and you frauded his armor of Malik. Every time they screw something, you're saying they're screwing Kaiser Magnus Facebook in the brain. This is not called communism, so don't apply false prophet to it, or you don't come in peace when the Twin Towers exploded. It's straightforward English on Kaiser Magnus Facebook. Not raping Kaiser Magnus Facebooks.